No.
38 and 39. Okay.
No, I don't cuss.
So, beautiful thing about what we're about to do today. Beautiful thing about what we're going to do today, you already know how. A composite transformation is when I do more than one transformation. So instead of just translating, we're going to translate then reflect. Or we're going to rotate and reflect. Or we're going to reflect and rotate. Okay? Anytime you do more than one transformation, it is called a composite. Yes.
Miss Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
can you send Louise Moreno?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Where? Why are you leaving?
You're
I think
leaving.
the office. I don't even know that. I think I had to laugh that much. I didn't even know I was leaving today. So that's how you really laugh every day.
Guess you better watch the video, huh? Alright. What was your question, okay? I got off track.
What's the
Stop! Why? As soon as something happens, this class gets loud. Stop. Okay, so we've got one of two options. Here's option one.
No.
Here's option two.
One.
Neither.
Or
Oh, wait, I like or.
Hey, you gotta let.
Or
Just give me your flashlight.
no.
That's gonna be bright though, right?
I just said that.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
that
just
helps?
let me go sit over there.
that's fine.
Take one.
I hate shit. You're fine.
Can't see nothing.
All right. So we're going to go through the process of doing composite transformations. Take it one at a time. Don't try to do them all at the same time. So this first one on the left, okay, we're using this point for each one of these. Okay, so we're going to start with the point 1, -3. Okay, that's our starting point. The first thing they want us to do is they want us to translate. What am I doing to my point when I translate? According to my rule. What is this telling me I'm doing? Adding 2 to x, which means it's going to the right by 2. So it'll be 3 -3.
I just asked like everybody from water.
You did ask me.
Okay, enough. Okay. The next thing they want us to do is they want us to reflect in the x-axis. So I'm reflecting over the x, which means what's changing? Your y's. Okay, so when I reflect in the x, it changes my y's. So this point now becomes 3, 3.
So you always do the one that's on top first? Like, I would always do trans.
Yeah, whatever they tell you first, you do
And
first.
if you do the other one, so would it be wrong? Would it be wrong?
Yes, it's going to. This one, it's not going to change it, but it doesn't always work out that way. So make sure you do it in order.
So whenever it's changing the X, it's going like.
Yeah, because think about it. So your x-axis is this axis, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my point either starts at the top and goes to the bottom, or the bottom going to the top. So it's not moving anywhere left and right, it's moving up and down, which changes your y.
So if it was moving from side to side, it would be
If it would
Y.
move from side to side, it would change your x.
So if it's not moving up or down, it's still Y. If it's moving side to side, it's the X.
So they want us to now plot this point. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is now a double prime.
Hey, ooh, we did double prime.
You did 2 transformations, so this is now double prime. If we would have stopped with the first one, this would have just been a prime. This one becomes a double prime. So every prime that you put is a transformation that has happened.
So if it wasn't, so if we just did the translation, then it would only be the one, but if we.
Because we did a translation and then a reflection, we did two, so it's a double prime. Okay?
My lips are big. Oh,
Did you just say your lips are big? All right. So we're going back to that original point, 1 comma negative 3. Okay. This time, what am I doing with my translation?
Subtracting 4 and adding.
Okay, so subtracting 4 from x moves it which way? Left. And adding 3 to y becomes? Up. Good. So we subtract 4 from 1, which gives me negative 3. And add 3 to negative 3, and that gives me 0. Okay, now they want us to reflect in the line y equals 2. Oh, I do.
Wait, so why couldn't we use?
Oh, jump to God.
I know, but you're supposed to do it on the board.
Huh?
Stop being so rude.
I'm not being rude.
Why would
Just
you
asking
multiply?
questions.
You're not dilating. You're reflecting. Okay, so the line y equals 2 is a horizontal line that goes through 2. Here's your line. No, it's not perfectly straight. I'm off with that. Okay. If you need to resort back to drawing, that's okay. So right now we're starting at negative 3 comma 0. So we're right here.
Okay.
Okay. Remember, my 2 points, that line of reflection has to be the middle of my 2 points. So where does this point go to make this the middle?
Up.
Up. So it goes here. So my new point is negative 3, comma 4.
What? Miss Smith,
Yes.
why did you put the
I know.
line right there?
Well, you were doing.
Because it's y, it's reflecting in y equals 2. Which means-
Up and down?
It goes through your y at 2.
Can you just give me some?
So you, when you start from second translation.
So anytime you have like x equals a number, it's a vertical line because it goes through the x. Anytime it's y equals a number, it's a horizontal because it goes through the y. Okay.
So when you do the second transformation, translation, you start from the old line? Or
No, you start from the new point that you had.
Okay.
So you have got your original point, you do your second transformation, and then use that point to do the next one. You just keep going. Okay. So negative 3, comma 4. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is a double prime.
So for this, we're only doing 1 point.
Uh-huh.
There is examples where you have more than 1 point.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We start off slow and get a little bit harder. Okay, but nothing changes though. Even though they're going to give us more than 1 point later on, it's still the same thing. Do each point with the first roll. Do each point with the second roll then. Okay? So don't bug out on me when we get to the point where there's more than 1. Okay? So we're going back to our original. 1 comma negative 3. Okay? I heard Elijah say left. What does y plus 2 do? Up. So we subtract 3 from 1, which gives me negative 2. And I add 2 to y, which gives me negative 1. Okay. This time I'm reflecting in x equals 2.
So that's gonna be up and down.
That's going to be a vertical line.
I got you.
So we're here.
Wait, I have a question. Which number is it changing?
Or both of them?
It's gonna change your X.
Okay.
When it's an up and down line, it's gonna change your X. When it's a left and right line, it's gonna change your Y.
Okay.
Okay, so we start at -2, -1. So we're 4 to the left of my line. So my new point needs to go 4 to the right. Well, 4 to the right of 2 takes me to 6.
That's not.
It's not on there? It goes by 2s, be careful.
Oh,
So 6, -1, it's going by 2s. So we're at 6.
Wait, how did you get 6 numbers?
Because you have to look at the minimum, like we can calculate that mentally without having to use your graph.
Yes. Okay. If you want to do this mentally without doing the graph, it can be done. Okay. This is an up and down line or a vertical line, which means it changes my X's. Anytime it's a vertical line, it changes your X's, which is why your Y-axis changes your X's. Okay. So we've got a vertical line and it's adjusting my X's. So how far is -2 away from +2? 4 spaces. So I would add 4 to get to 2. So then I add another 4, which would take me to 6. Okay. All right. Let's scoot on down to here. Okay. This time we've got a line, CD. So we've got 2 points we're going to do for this one. So 1, 2 and 5, 4. I'm going to put the new points underneath this time. Okay.
so you said when it's X, it's Y.
It changes your Y's, yes. Anytime your line goes left to right, it changes your Y's that you're reflecting over. And anytime your line is up and down, it's changing your X's. Okay, so what's my first thing? What are we doing? Going to the left. So we're subtracting 4 from your X's. So this becomes -3, 2, +1, 4.
I think they'll change your Y.
My translation? We're just doing the translation right now. One step at a time. Elijah's getting ahead of his game here. One step at a time. All right. Reflection in the x-axis. So that goes left and right. Your x-axis goes left and right, which means it changes my y's. So -3, 2 becomes -3, -2.
Everything becomes negative.
Your y's become negative. Because if you think about it, your x-axis is the same thing as y equals 0. When you're on your x-axis, your y value is 0.
Oh my God.
You said when you what? Everything becomes negative?
When you reflect in the x-axis, your y's become negative or positive, depending on what they start at. Your y's change sign. So we've got -3, -2. And this is C prime, double prime. And 1, -4, 3, 4. And this is D double prime. Bless you.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness. All right. Scoot on over to number 5. We're going back to our original points. So 1, 2, 5, 4. First step. How am I moving? Up by 2. So we're adding 2 to my y's. So 1, 4, good. And 5, 6.
1, 4, 5, 6.
I think we missed 2 and 3.
Maybe they don't know how to count.
It happens. Okay. What was the rule when I reflect over y equals x? Flip your points.
That's your
See, on the
Okay.
test, you gotta have this, though.
Huh?
So you just have to memorize it.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, you get no formula sheet, no nothing
That comes with the
for your
calculator.
test,
That's probably-
When? On Thursday?
Y'all go on the calculator.
No, you
for
did
any
that.
of it.
What comes on the calculator? Go ahead.
So we will work on what I call a math 2 dump sheet as we go through. And literally, the day you take your test, when you get that scratch paper, before you even look at your test, I want you to take that scratch paper and write down every piece of math information that you think you might need right then and there. Whether that's writing reflect over y equals x, that means switch your points. Writing down the Pythagorean theorem. Whatever you can store in your head that you can throw down on this dump sheet, that's what I want you to do. That way, as you're going through and you're like, okay, this question says reflect over x. What does that mean? You can refer to that as your own personal formula sheet. There is nothing against you making a formula sheet. We just cannot provide you with one. So we're going to kind of make our own. All right, so reflect over y equals x. That means my y goes to my x and my x goes to my y. So we're at 4, 1 and 6, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So here's C double prime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is D double prime.
Can you do that like on the graph though? Like find x equals y, y equals x on the graph.
And show you how to count them? Absolutely. Except my eraser's over here and so is my marker. Because you can always resort back to this every time. Okay? Y equals x is this diagonal line that goes through your origin. Okay? Your slope is 1. Your y-intercept is 0. Okay? So my point started at 4, 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, 1, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here was C prime, my original. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is D prime, my original. Okay. So remember, it has to be equal distance to that line. So if I start at D and I travel straight to my line, I go 1 full diagonal space and a half. So I need to continue on that same amount. So here's my half, here's my whole, which puts me here. Okay, same thing with D. D's only like this little half space to the line. Well, that means I only need to go another little half space. So here's my new D.
How do you know which way to draw it at?
You have to go from the point to the line of reflection. So if I switched it up, these are great questions. I'm so glad that you guys actually stopped me and say, please, talk about this.
This is x equals y.
Okay. So if I switch it up and my line goes like this now, it's still the same. I want to go from that point to the line. So this time I count this way.
So that would be
Why would you change the line?
That's
That's
x
the
equals
line,
y,
right?
How do you
This
know-
is y equals negative x.
Right. I'll switch it. Okay.
And then the other one is okay.
So if I switch the line, it goes that way.
So what would we switch this?
Y equals negative x switches your points and changes the signs.
So it changes everything.
Yes.
And y equals x only changes the number.
Just switches the numbers, yes.
I think I can remember those two, but the other ones.
I'm probably gonna bring it up.
Over the x axis and y.
Yeah.
all
All
that.
you do is change. Okay, X-axis is change the line.
You
just change the freaking sign. If it says X, you change sign of Y. If it says Y, you change sign of X. Something like that.
Well, Jackie, you got slow.
I mean, my bad. I was trying to help you. Trying to listen and figure it out. So far.
Girl, bye. All right. For number 6, they want you to tell them what is happening here. So in order to do that, 1, I need to figure out what's my starting figure, what's my first transformation, what's my second. Where do I start?
At the bottom.
The bottom. Okay, so here is the first figure. Which one is my second figure?
The second one. All right, above it.
Right above it.
Is there anything to call the image that's in between? Like, you know how you got image and pre-image?
It's, so 1 is still your pre-image, 2 is an image, and 3 is still an image.
Okay.
They don't really know. After
It's
image.
called post image.
Post image.
You got 4.
All right.
After image. The money of two.
So
Post, it could be post image.
to go from 1, okay, to go from 1 to 2, what have I done?
Reflected over the x-axis.
Reflected over the x-axis.
I like that part.
I dropped something.
Are you okay?
I dropped a desk. That's what I thought.
Somebody feel like
What is it is?
Okay. I just heard a big bang and I was like,
Who dying?
he knocked over the desk in the hall.
It all started with
Like,
everybody coming out the doors.
I do not go
You never knocked over a desk?
in the hall.
Yeah.
You know, we got-
You walk in and
You're the only
you
one in the
bump
hall.
into it and it fall over. And he'd be like, oh.
Exactly.
Okay, but you knocked it. Nobody got it.
Okay. I now want to go from number 2 to number 3. What is that?
I mean, I'm
Translation.
That's what it's called.
Do we have to write like they did at the top?
Yes. X. How am I moving in my X?
Plus 6.
Over.
Plus 6.
Yes.
I'm moving plus 6.
Plus 6. Plus 6. Plus 6.
From A prime to A double prime.
And y plus 2. So to get from this figure to this figure, it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces to the right. So that's your x plus 6. And then it's going 1, 2 up. So that's your y plus 2. Okay. So that should be x plus 6, y plus 2. How can I write that as a vector?
Ooh. V.
You got that sideways V?
6 plus 2. I mean,
And
comma
2.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, remember those two things mean the same thing. Okay? Questions? Huh? Why is it what?
Hi, he be in
Lovely. All right. Which one of these is my original?
the one in the quadrant line.
The one in quadrant 1. This is number 1. Where's number 2?
The one in quadrant 2. 3.
2. And then 3. So I want to go from 1 to 2.
It might turn both
Rotate.
sides.
It turns, so it's a rotation.
90 degrees rotation counterclockwise.
90 degrees because it moved 1 quadrant
On the y-axis.
counterclockwise.
Oh.
So it rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise.
And you gotta turn all the way around.
Because he knows it.
Like, you gotta do it like
Guys,
this.
stop.
A Hey, what's up with today though?
I don't know. Everybody's been mean to each other today and all kinds of crazy.
Everybody just being.
Okay. Be careful. Be careful with this
Nobody
one.
like you.
I want to go from 2 to 3.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, wait,
Translation.
flip.
No.
It is a
Oh, reflection.
reflection.
Over the x-axis.
Okay. How do I know it's a reflection and not a translation?
Because A is like on this side.
Okay. Take a look at your A and C. Up here, your A was on the bottom of the triangle. Your A is now on the top of the triangle. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten translation on this one. Please be careful. Okay, so this is a reflection over the x-axis.
Oh, I almost got crap.
You're fine. Absolutely.
That's why it wouldn't be a ten.
You could be a teacher, Trey.
I know.
Listen,
I thought about it though.
I honestly love when you guys sit there and teach yourselves because you actually learn more when you're teaching somebody than doing it yourself. If you can teach it, you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tay.
I just be one.
I know something, guys.
We doing this little bit for you. I can't find my.
Okay.
My neck go in pain.
We on the next one, right?
Yes.
I gotta get it.
Okay. Somehow, some way, I cut off the points that we're supposed to use. So, I don't know how I did it. I'm magical like that.
Oh,
So don't do that one.
So 1, -2, and 2, 3.
Huh? Right, my day every day.
But why?
You know, when I was here.
So,
You bring so much joy to my life.
we're going to start with 1, -2, and 2, 3.
That can't leave, gotta go.
Okay. Somehow I magically cut off the points that we were supposed to start at. So, I'm going to make up my own.
Is that not you?
I'm going to make up my own. So, we're going to start at 1, -2, and 2, 3.
I sound like a baby.
Thank you, stop.
It's not even what you talking about.
Come on, guys. Focus, please. Okay. So, left
Left and down.
and down. So, we're subtracting 4 from my x, which leaves me with
-3.
-3, and we're subtracting 3 from y, -5. My next point is -2 and 0. You're fine. Everybody needs it every now and again. If it becomes a habit, then we have a problem. But I'm good. Hey, Jameer. Keep his breath on his head. All right. Reflection in the x-axis. What does that change? Your y's, your sign of y. So -3, 5,
-2.
and -2, 0.
-0.
Uh-oh, I think I made that too big. I did. It's going to be off the graph. Like it, love it. Goes right here. Like it, love it. -3, +5. I thought I was making it slick. It didn't work.
It'll be negative.
And -2, 0.
We using the same points.
Same points for the next one. Same points for the next one.
Did anybody else do the whole thing?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what are we doing first?
You are.
Translation.
going to the left.
To the left. So we're going to subtract 2 from my y's. So negative 1,
Wait, you said what? Your Y.
or I'm sorry, my x's. I did the right thing. I just said the wrong thing. Negative 1, negative 2, and 0,3. At least I wrote it down right.
Did you?
Okay. 90 degrees about the origin. What happens? Which way do I rotate when it doesn't tell me? Counterclockwise. So 90 degrees. The first thing I do is what? What do I do first? 90 degrees. What do I do?
Flip the numbers.
Flip your numbers.
Switch it.
What's up?
Odessa's coming to you after school. She can study first, but once she gets out her computer and signs into Canvas, she's out. She can't have anything out on her desk.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay. So the first thing I have to do is flip my numbers. Now I need to figure out where in the heck am I? Okay. So negative starts me in quadrant 3. So it's now going to go to quadrant 4, which means it's positive, negative. Okay. Again, it started in quadrant 3 and it ends in quadrant 4. Okay. 0,3 started in quadrant 1. So it's going to go to quadrant 2. So 2 is negative, positive.
Wait, Miss Smith,
Yes.
can you like visualize like the quadrant real quick? Like 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4?
Absolutely. Where did I put my eraser and my...
No.
Oh, they get
Oh my god, I wrote it up beside his head. Oh my god.
So this is 1. This is 2. Hey, Quadeja.
I miss you so much, bro. This my sister, y'all.
Ooh, look at you.
I'm tired.
Okay, so, Tay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so negative puts me in quadrant 3. You're good with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm here. If I'm going 90 degrees counterclockwise, I'm moving 1 quadrant. Counterclockwise moves me this way, so that moves me to 4.
I could have swore you said positive.
Positive, negative.
Okay.
And then 1 goes to 2, which makes it negative, positive. Okay. So we should have a point at 2, -1, and that's off the graph too. Wow. I'm really doing good at this, huh?
Yep.
At least he's honest. Nope.
That's what
That's it.
B double prime.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Hey, it wasn't too bad off.
Oh, we got it.
I did pretty good.
I need a break.
Need a break. We only got
Miss Smith, how was it?
four more to do. What on earth, Tay?
A Spider-Man. Yeah, she said.
Poor
She said,
Michelle.
so. She said, so. Yeah.
Michelle's just looking at you like you're nuts.
I am.
All right. This one, we're going to do a whole triangle. Oh my gosh. 3 points. Woo, woo,
Well,
woo, woo.
do that.
Bruh, y'all trying to play me.
But
Y'all the whole athlete leagues.
athlete.
Athlete leagues.
Athlete.
Athlete leagues.
All right.
Leagues.
So,
They still are recording.
come on. Let's get this done.
Please.
Okay. All right. So, Take a look at this one. Here's my 3 points to start with, A, B, and C. The first thing I want to do is translate. So, add 3 to your X and subtract 5 from your Y. So 6, negative 4.
4 and 0.
4 and 0.
And 8.
8.
And
Negative 2. Look at you go. Reflection in the y-axis. Your y-axis goes up and down, so what's changing? The x's. So, negative 6, negative 4, negative 4, 0, and negative 8, negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's A double prime. Here's B double prime. And C double prime.
Oh my God.
So now we've got a triangle.
Look at the triangle.
Oh my gosh.
Slick stuff about me.
Slick.
Stuff about you.
Yes.
Slick.
Slick.
Okay.
Louis has to.
Okay, Bob.
Louis has to grant.
Yes. Say right here.
It says in the directions to graph it. You really need to pay attention to direction.
Just trying to.
I know.
Okay.
3, 1. 1, 5. 5, 3. Okay. We start with subtracting 6 from X, adding 1 to Y. So negative 3, positive 2. Negative 5, positive 6. Negative 1, positive 4.
That was so
That was really.
Okay. Rotation 90 degrees about the origin. So counterclockwise. So my first thing is switch my numbers. So 2, 3, 6, 5, 4, 1.
Wait, if you switch the numbers, do you keep?
Don't worry about the signs. Just change your numbers.
Alright.
You only worry about the signs when we finally decide what quadrant we're in. So I start in the negative positive quadrant. So I'm in 2. I'm going 90 degrees counterclockwise. I'm going to what quadrant? I'm going to 3, so I'm negative, negative. I started in 2, and I'm now in 3. The next one, guess what? It starts in 2, so we end in 3. My last one also started in 2, so it's going to end in 3. So we're at negative 2, negative 3. Here's a double prime. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's B double prime. Okay.
You are lame.
That was pointy, actually.
Be nice.
Shut up.
Oh,
We're good?
No, why did you feel big back there?
She getting close to popping out. What you gonna do about it?
Lord, this is.
Hey, it happens. All right. So let's go through. Stop. I can pull out an extra worksheet for
I'm
him.
sorry. I'm sorry. We won't do that no more.
Okay. All right. So take a look at A. Let's do this first. Let's do it by that way. So if we take a look at A, which one is my first one?
The one in the top corner.
Okay. So this is 1. Which one's 2?
The one in the corner.
And then 3. Okay. So to go from 1 to 2, what am I doing? Rotating. To go from 2 to 3, I'm reflecting. Which one does this go with? Rotate and then reflect.
Oh.
Oh.
This is 14.
What?
Yes.
Which one is?
So we just put the letter.
Yes. So 14 is A.
Oh.
Okay. We rotated about point Q and then we reflected over the line.
Oh.
You're fine. All right. Take a look at B. Which one's 1? A. Which one's 2? A prime. Okay. So what's happened from 1 to 2? Rotates. And then we did what? Translated. Okay. So it's 13 is B.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you explain to me how that rotation?
So
I don't see it.
actually, let me do it this way. So it's kind of like this, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Shut up.
And now it's like this.
Right.
So it
Didn't didn't
rotated
go across
clock.
the line?
Huh?
Didn't
That's-
it go across the line?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Okay.
It can still rotate across the line.
All right.
Okay.
So how much would that be rotated by?
That one's 180-degree rotation
Oh, from there.
because the line that was at the bottom is now at the top.
Oh.
All right, C. We got 1, 2, 3. So what has happened?
I think it's 15.
I agree. It reflected across the line and then it translated.
Oh, it just slid.
Yes.
Hold up.
See, it's number 50.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Oh my God.
Yes.
Translate.
So it translated first because this is 1 and it slid down to here and then it reflected over that line and became 3.
So for reflection, it literally is like, it would have to be like up and down, like the 2 bases you have to be towards each other.
A reflection just means if I took this and I folded it
It would be the same.
along that line, it would match.
Okay.
Here, look. That's up and down.
You will.
No, I know what you're saying. No, but yeah.